welcome back. Once again, we are watching some more Higurashi, having kidnappings and whatnot be rampant, an eye for an eye, as it were. A son for a metaphorical mother. The town being in dire need of saving. But of course, with the story now going back several years to before the events of the dam and the curse and everything that we know, how is this information going to affect the story going forward? And I wonder, can things be changed? If we're going back to a story from before, is it going to suffer from the same redo, repeat, yet subtle changes in storyline? And if so, what kind of knock-on effect will it have? Higurashi is one that is quite a brain-scratcher. There seems to be a lot going on, a lot that I'm missing. Nothing seems to be in the right order. It's all quite a jumble. And character motivation is kind of difficult to get a hold on when they're swapping around all over the place and sometimes not quite acting like themselves. So, I want to watch it. Probably you do too. So I'm going to stop talking and let's begin. Starting straight off with the kidnapped party. At least he's getting some medical attention. I think he's a bit preoccupied by massive pain right now, but since he would know everyone, not from around here. On a scale of a car accident, a surgery scar, what looks to be recurring injury, hernia infection. Depends what was actually needed. But definitely something that would need medical attention. So good they actually got someone to look at him. Not much good as a hostage if he just winds up dead. But now we're bringing in more factors into it. You got this kidnapped child who was part of the higher-ups involved in a car accident. Has that been mentioned ever? Well, in the past episode since the kid was brought up. But to think that it goes from putting in planning permission to build a dam over a city to this kind of action. People go to extreme lengths to protect their home. Well, no. After he was putting on a stab vest and one on the last episode, I'd be a little nervous. Yeah, that's not questionable at all. Maybe she just likes watching traffic. And what happened to make this a ghost town? I don't think it's got very good tourist destinations around here, but yeah, how would they see the wallet? Seems like an awful coincidence. And in a random bush, it found the wallet. He was just attending to some medical business. And probably the right people there to bring up such concerns. But now it's... But now that they are here, this is going to go one of a few ways. He's not here to play tricks or games, is he? Do you have a warrant? How is he out running him while carrying a child? I mean, confirm the identity. Yes, cool. The punishment would be much less severe. That's not... not the kind of backup he was expecting. I wasn't expecting just a straight up gunshot to be able to... Yeah, he looks fine. To be the way out of this story. They've already kidnapped and they now know what what they've been doing with the kid, so he has to get home to his wife. Ah, so much for the bubbles. He should have double tapped. What? Just letting them run? Surely just wow. It's a rural countryside. I'm sure there's a few corners that can be cut when it comes to kidnapping. Oh. Yeah. He did take a shot to the shoulder blade. It's gonna hurt. At least it doesn't seem immediately fatal. And good to see that both him, the doctor, and the police guy fairly okay after this debacle. Is he now going to be able to just transfer back home safely? One more thing. At least for a few years. Even though they got the kid back, it was all kind of not worth it. Yeah. Isn't that the truth? A force that I have no idea what is actually in power. Whether it be the curse, something wildly more impractical. He could have just gotten lucky, but a clean shot through and through. No lingering effects, no true damage upon a law official. Yeah, maybe he was somewhat trained. But that brings up even more question. Why are they after... And the phone line's been cut. Why were they after the kid in the first run through the story that we saw? Try to run him off the road. Not a very good connection round here, is there? Hello again. She's been wandering around in the same dress since it was raining. Did she know his name before? He will return back nicely, do as he's told, and hopefully suffer no ill consequences. Are we just going to brush past the question that he asked us? Did you cut all the phone wires? A festival? Doesn't look very festivalish. Oh no. So it's not quite the full-blown event that it turns into a few years down the line, is it? I saw a bike there by the stairs. Ah, festival. Just an excuse for them to all to start drinking. And yet we know that a little bit down the line it actually turns into something worthwhile of a festival. That's some weird proportions just then. Is that the same railing that they were at before where she gave him the warning? With the plan withdrawn... Is that an answer? Well, at least the thin veneer of peace. Oh. She's a fortune teller. A psychic of sorts. Okay, well... That's some rather dire predictions coming from a child. Who? Who has decided the will of the universe itself? Raising the moon called Death. Though it seems certain and predicted things will follow the true path, there may be a way out. Is that what is being said here? All of the eventualities that we've seen with various characters befalling different kinds of fates. He looks a little tired. No. From the late. Was he managed... God damn it. I was going to ask, did he, was he able to go and... Directly on her front. It seems the same courtesy wasn't extended to her. It would only make you sad. Preordained, pre-known. Trying to save it from him. Everything there, I think he's done here, actually, came to be almost useless. If he had went back, the kid would have been released anyway. Does seem a little far-fetched when you say it out loud. Maybe she could only see certainly so far into the future. Is this the gas? Everyone bar one. And it wasn't the... And if the entire village has been wiped out, does that mean it's the end of it? Or the curse will just linger? Guild. Very specific usage of words. Not a case of being falling to the gas. A drug-induced coma. The cotton drifting. All pre-mortem. It's nice that we're seeing both, with this story at least, the pre and post events that happened in the village. Everything that was before and now investigating after. What if I told you it wasn't chance? She said each and every death which she didn't relay to anyone Well, now that the entire village was, 6 feet under, it might be a little safer, as long as there's no more gas. But how does the knowledge here help us prior? Either she couldn't, or it was some sort of duty, or much like you said, it's a unavoidable outcome. Unless a certain amount of ripples occur. By reaching out to him in the first place. If she had a rundown of everyone that died, went missing, or burned on the Condrifton Festival, if he had written down any of this notes and left it with the police force, at least on the first one, hang on a second. On this day on 1983. Why was that one the one that had like an asterisk? On this day, or a few days later, why was that one seeming a little more vague? And also, why does she seem so calm and collected and mature in her responses here? Is it her? It's not the usual kind of nipa kind of stuff that we were hearing before. But also, it would explain kind of why her predictions stopped at her death. Not that she couldn't tell further beyond what happened to her, but the entire village kind of just went. Pfft. Predictions of their future, mysterious deaths, knowing each and every occurrence. Also, I think this is the episode with that bit there, which I might have got maybe spoiled on a while back. Can't remember now. But something felt oddly familiar about it. But if she knew about everything that was happening, that means throughout every story that we saw, she knew. Was she herself trying to take steps to try and change things? Like when we saw her dirtied and bruised in the woods. Or, well, not in the woods, but at least around some trees. And who can do anything on the story which might change his outcome? Considering there's only one survivor of the gas. I will say that Higurashi has been interesting the way that it's laid out, because it's not just a to B story. There's the timeline itself jumps around so many times and replays itself in different eventualities. Now getting the before and after, before we're finishing the main segment. The storytelling in this is definitely something else, not what I think I've ever seen before. But with Rika being this soothsayer, holding knowledge that she shouldn't have, knowing the deaths that would come in later years, and also, I know about your wife, I'm not going to tell you about it, just best if you don't know. Did she go around cutting every phone wire, or just the ones that she knew that he would try to go to? Wouldn't exactly help nowadays, because everyone would basically have a cell phone. Maybe the service over there wouldn't be very good. Doubt there's any towers or anything. Especially after the whole condemned village part. I would like to think that there's more that we can do to affect the story. Or we, like I'm part of it. That someone can do to affect the story. Maybe before the events all start to unfold. Or just the main characters-ish that we see, their lives can be spared? Might be a good word. Not saved, at least. But the main question now is, why Rika? Why the... Well, I know why the coma. It's like Aztec sacrifice when they need to be alive, otherwise the gods are not appeased. But who was taking that action? And what seems to be is that the village itself was not satiated by that act, and therefore rejected everyone. Nice little bit of natural disaster. But yeah, there is so many questions. Especially since we got at the beginning the well-trained soldiers that were the ones that kidnapped the boy. The fact that their actions there had no impact on how things proceeded because the plans were already pulled, so he would have been released. They put themselves in harm's way and just... well, took a bullet. For no real gain. I have a few questions, but also because we were then focusing on this other police dude rather than any characters that we were seeing before, it felt a little at odds because suddenly story from a completely different perspective and time. But knowing that he was absent for pretty much everything we've seen before, but there prior and after, is the events that are being portrayed and shown off, at least when it kept restarting and skipping and going in different routes, just that section, or from even before all of the damn deaths started, and then it can change and things can play out differently. Who is holding the predictions? How precise are they? Who's really calling the shots around here? I don't know what to do from here. I have a weird unnerved feeling, especially since getting that kid, so I was in a car accident. Excuse me? What's that got to do with anything? Where did that come from? Why mention it unless it was somewhat important? How is this car accident going to circle back and actually inform anything? Well, at least the kid looked healthy. Not the one that had the car accident. The one that was born after the mother fell down the stairs. The curse of the village strikes again. How wide-reaching is it? Or is it just that it was a coincidental thing that happened and it's like, okay, I'm just protecting you from this knowledge right now. You have better, more important things. I'm going to have to find out by watching the next one. So I can do it right now if I felt like it. We'll see. But unfortunately, we're going to have to wait a while to have it on the channel. So if you enjoyed this one, let me know. Leave a like and a comment down below. Consider subscribing so you don't miss whenever I put up the next one. If it's like usual, it'll be next Saturday. But for now, get yourselves a bit of rest. I think we've all earned it. I'll see you in the next one. The ones who hold the knowledge and maybe even the power over what happens to my channel really would be my patrons. If you would like to help join them to keep my channel above the surface a little longer, consider joining onto my Patreon as well. So, thanks to Noku, Sal, Guado, Kite, Raywin, Shiwan, Tori Jane and everyone else. The only thing I have to fear is underground gas leaks.